again. Sorry, my dear ones, for the interruption. My dear, loving, and amazing mother just was calling in to see how I'm feeling. She's at work, and well, I'm here. And actually, today has been a little better. But now back to the topic on hand is from what I was saying, anything that's not legal, this space is a safe space. All that out the door. Not condoning, not allowing any of that to come even near the safe space, clean and pure and kind that I've created for all of us. So now let's continue. And as I've said, many different situations with many different answers. My answer in regards to mine, but also many people that I know and others could be struggling with the same sort of situation. Now, especially on the topic of money. Money, that topic can really destroy almost everything if you let it. People get very sensitive. Family members, especially if you're not one of the 1%ers, but even them, they have different money worries. When you owe someone something and you say and claim that you are a person of your word, integrity, honesty, then the obvious answer would be give what you owe. If that is how you portray yourself as. Now, there are many times when family members, especially, since, they say family, air quotes there, flaky and forgetful, and dealing with that can be very stressful. No one wants to be a nag, but if it's a substantial amount, there has to be a middle point. Sit the person down, or let's say they're out of the country, have a clean cut discussion. This is what you owe me. How much can you do it now? Proper, good voice, no accusations, no picking at each other, no, just the clear facts and how to resolve it. And then there's those family members, usually the ones that do owe money, who blame everyone possible for their problems, never want to admit the truth, which everyone plainly sees, that it's their fault. And that's when you're at a point of course, annoyance, aggravation, and all those negative feelings that are very correct to have in that situation, but very, very debilitating to anyone's mental health and health in general, and also their well-standing to have to deal with that. And some families actually go to court on some things like that. Me? No. I'm a person of my word. Integrity, good reputation. In the hypothetical sense, if I owe someone something, I won't even get to that point. Clean, good relationships. Doesn't matter what family member, aunt, uncle, grandparent, all that. No. And then on the off chance that you do, someone does you a favor, but not necessarily the favor having strings attached, but you have to give it back. You do. That's I've done it. It doesn't matter if you put yourself, let's say, in more of a negative in regards to money, but you pay that person back even early. to keep that relationship good and clean. I was taught, you owe someone something, you pay it, you give it, you do it. I think that's how all the world should be. Because if you or anyone else that tries to educate you in their way, oh, you could just let that pass, People understand, that sometimes is true. If you need more time, let's say someone lends you money that you need and you can only pay it back in 2-3 months, you specifically say that. And if on the chance you get the sum quicker, you give it quicker. Even if you said that it'll take 3 months. No, if you get it in 2 or 1 month, even better. The moment you have what is owed, you give it. Grateful, good, no problems. And then God forbid, if you need something like that next time, no one's going to say no to someone who, friend, especially family, that yes, I need this X amount of dollars I do not have. Of course, for procedures, food, childcare, and that person who is the giver knows that, wait a second, this person, good reputation to all, never ever lies, that they say, oh yes, I'll give it to you in 3 months, and then it becomes a year without even warning. Let's say that some people that happens to. Always keep the person who lended you what you needed know. And if it does take that long, start giving little sums back. Point is, families need each other. But when it comes to such sensitive topic as money, always try to keep it clear cut. Facts, reputation, person of integrity and word, and not let anything else or anyone else get in saying, oh no, I'll pay the this member's debt, but then okay, that's good, but then you owe that person that amount, and maybe that person is more difficult than the one you're dealing with. Good, clean, they're more loose in their terms and words, and you'd be surprised that many families actually charge their own family members with interest, which is sad. Now, if you're in a situation where a very beloved family member owes you a good big sum of money and is also the cause and direct link to the unwell situation you find yourself in at this moment in time, especially if it's with health or family or both, and they do give a little crumb and then curse you and wish you to no longer be on the earth, and that they've done everything and basically lie to everyone. And that's mostly when it happens with the elderly. I think the person who is the one that is correctly owed that sum to get it all back. Not saying all in one shot, but definitely not to start blaming said person, mainly the debtee, Doesn't matter how old you are. You, your family member, grandchild, let's say, gave you and more, and they find themselves in a very, very sad and disheartening situation, not by their hands, but by others. And they come, well, nicely asking because they're of good standing and proper to start lessening that debt, because there are many ways to lessen that instead of giving just cash in hand, helping with medical bills, debt bills of the person. Basically, that person can repay that debt in different ways. But the minute emotions start coming up from the debtee and starting to curse everyone, making themselves the victim, and spewing out borderline death threats and all that, the person who is owed absolutely has the right to get angry and sad, because here's this person, look what they owe and look what they're doing, instead of doing the right thing. And anyone who protects said person should really get a reality check, and if they really want to stay on that person's side, then they should take that debt from the person, because obviously that's their standpoint. So if anyone wants to defend the person in the wrong, they take on all that debt. If not, they could be Switzerland or not choose any sides other than the one that obviously is correct. And if some people have more of an opportunity and funds, other family members, even godparents or something, then they should give themselves a question in their head. I don't agree with none of them, but someone needs to be shut up in a way. Let me help. But this should be in their mind every single day. You chose to help. Whatever repercussions come from that, and not from the person owed, the person who owes, that's a different situation. You put yourself in that situation to help, then take the heat. You put yourself in that, even with good intentions. And here's hoping whoever does put themselves in the middle of that, everyone at the end ends up, I want to say happy, but settled. That's the word, settled. Debt paid to the person who was owed. No more debt. No more owing anyone anything. Everyone out. It's over. But the debt and all might be over. But when it comes to reputations and what gossip circulates, I honestly feel bad for the grandchild or the niece or the nephew. The person or persons in the right. Because the other side, they don't care. And in full honesty, if that is their standpoint, then they really shouldn't have had to owe anyone anything. They should have just stayed in their lane, dealt with the means that they have. And if you do get into that situation, you do what's right. Doesn't matter. Age does not matter. Anyone under the age of 15, that's different. But adults, doesn't matter. It's all about facts. And if the person who owes the debt doesn't care about their reputation, well, that's on them. I think it's sad because, most family members do not want to have their family known for having insensitive, borderline senile family members that they only talk about how poor they are and how sad and that everyone must help them when they're the cause of all the problems, and choose not to fix them in the right way. It's very difficult. You find yourselves in ways that you would have never thought. But the one piece of advice that I tell to all: save yourself, especially from causes and people who can destroy your life and health. Protect the ones who protect you. Be kind, of course, to others, but in certain situations there are sides to be taken, unfortunately. There's the good and the one that's not the good, to say properly. You can all know already what words can be described on that. I wish for everyone to be proper. Sadly, it rarely happens. But me, I do feel bad for the person who is owed, especially when it comes to family. And on a topic that can obviously, as shown in the world, destroy relationships, all the bad. And it starts with the family. Strangers is a different ballgame. A family, it's the worst to deal with when it comes to topics like money. If you can avoid it, good. If you could run away and while owing no one nothing, and just being like, okay, they owe me, but I'm not gonna sacrifice my health and sanity for them, just cut them off, then that's technically not a wrong answer. I think it's a protect yourself to not get more sick or more aggravated by people who will never change. Yes, it's sad to cut ties with certain family members, but if that saves your life, well, do it. And if you can save your loving parents' life, do it too. Try to keep your own life good. Not to let more bad come in and weighing in, and then gossip with other family members that have nothing to do with the situation and obviously are not helpful. So yes, tough topic. I thank you all for listening to me, and I hope this helps some of you. And I do wish for everyone to have peace in their life. Yes, sadly these days it's hard to attain or even hold, of course, of outside influences, but we have to protect ourselves in any way possible. Just have to. Because if not, the if not choice it's never good. So thank you all for listening. I pray for everyone to have health and happiness and peace in their life and health. Thank you all, my lovelies. I really do hope you all have a lovely day. And September starts tomorrow. Happy early September. Love you all.